John, great win last weekend over Clare. Judging by the celebrations afterwards, it seemed to mean a lot to you.
Yeah, it did. I suppose, it was a great win overall. I suppose we were written off all week. But I suppose it was overshadowed by the celebrations. But I have my reasons for it, and Davy's aware of my reasons, and hopefully we can just park it to the side now and move on. Look forward to the Munster Championship, and hopefully we'll have a good look at Cork Tipperary weekend and see what that brings to the table.
What were the reasons?
Look, Marty, I'm not going to get into it, but there was comments passed to another player's father, and I didn't take it too kindly.
So were you told before the game that Davy said that you were finished? Is that the cause of this problem?
Yeah, well, it was more or less along them lines, and I suppose I don't want to get into the ins and outs of it, who said what, but we had it out in the dressing room after the game, and Davy came out and said he didn't say it, and that's what we're led to believe.
And Davy has said, indeed, to me as well, categorically, that he didn't say it. But was this a major motivating factor then?
Yeah, well, absolutely. I suppose it did drive me on all week. And I suppose the fact that we were written off by so many people too. I wear my heart on my sleeve. And it takes a small thing to set it off on me. And I'd like to think I proved the point Sunday.
Speaking of Davy, there was a lot of talk about his reactions, particularly to Owen Kelly's comments that were picked up during the game. Was Davy just unlucky that the camera caught that moment, or should he have known better?
I think so. It's a lot worse said in club games. There's a lot worse said from supporters down to players, and there's always a lot of banter. And especially, I suppose, with the close relationship that Waterford had with Davy as well. There's probably a little bit of from the years gone by. So I think Davy was just very unlucky that he was beside a RT camera. But I suppose it was in the public domain at that stage, so it had to be dealt with. But I think it was a bit, a lot was made of it. But I think a lot worse I've heard a lot worse said to me, on a field and from different managers.
I thought it was pretty harmless. Now,
yeah.
I felt sorry for Davy afterwards. He has a fairly keen sense of injustice anyway.
Yeah.
And for him to be picked out like that, I know in a live context there's not much you can do about it, but for them to talk about it again late at night, I thought it was unnecessary.
But to be fair, Malachy, it was already in the public domain. It was captured live. The moment was captured live that afternoon.
Yeah, fair enough. But it could have been just left at that. You could have passed no remarks on it. I mean, obviously, when microphones pick things up, people will talk about them. But I don't know. I thought to pick it out like that, and sort of, they obviously didn't present it as if this is the only time a manager has ever cursed or a manager has ever sort of given a bit of lip. But I felt there was no need for it, really.
But does it not happen in all sports?
Of course it does. Of course it does. In far more genteel sports than hurling, and you would hear far worse. And I don't think. I'm not sure that too many people were sort of blanching or calling it an outrage what he said, but I didn't think there was any need to sort of double down on it later that night.
What do you make of it, John?
The Davies defence, there is an awful lot at stake, and the heat of the moment, particularly in my situation, things do go through your head, and we all make mistakes, and but I think parked to the side now, and we just concentrate on hurling now.
But your remonstration with Davy after the game, do you regret it now?
I have regrets because over my own character was knocked, and I think from different people, that going back to the old days, people felt that it was after maturing. I regret that from my own stance, but if it is true, and if a person, makes them comments, whether they are true or not, I had my reasons for doing it, and there was an awful lot at stake, and I wanted to prove a point, and it didn't come across well, and probably wasn't the right thing to do at the right time.
It's an odd enough situation because you weren't particularly happy with the way Davy was dealt with at the end of his reign in Waterford. Wouldn't that be fair enough to say?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. I thought Davy Fitzgerald made a massive contribution to Waterford hurling, and I had a good relationship with Davy Fitzgerald, And I suppose when I was told that during the week about them comments, I was kind of taken back by him, like, you know, because like I felt like, you know, I'd given 4 good years hurling to Davy, and Davy had given an awful lot to Waterford, and you know, I felt a bit taken back, and you know, I had it in my head all week, you know.
But do you accept now when he says that he didn't say that?
Well, you know, Davy said things in the past, you know. I mean, he's obviously going to say it, but you know, I think, you know, if we'll sit down someday and we'll have it out, and we'll talk it through, you know.
Absolutely.
I think Davy and John are probably 2 of the most passionate and colourful characters in the game. I think it'd be always a shame to lose that passion and lose that, you know, colour that they bring so much to the game of GAA, though, at the same time, you know.
Absolutely.